So with episode 2 of My Hero Academia's of Vigilantes, there's some things I definitely want to talk about. This is going to be a rant video. This is not me like getting very extremely upset or anything like that. I personally want to say here is basically that the MC character, or I would say Koichi, or the Crawler, whatever he wants to call himself, I personally want to say here is that I don't think the Crawler is a good name for him, for his title, to being as a hero. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I personally want to say here is basically that, in my opinion, I think that Koichi is a useless MC. I don't mean to be disrespectful, that's just what it feels to me. Because, I mean, there's only so much that he really can't even do. Now, we don't even know what kind of extent of the power that he can push through with his quirk. We don't know if he can make his quirk into something more powerful, something more dangerous, or something like that. Or maybe down the line, there is a very good possibility that he could take the enhancements that can enhance his ability, and plus even his quirk. That could be a very good possibility that he really could do that. Now, one thing I definitely want to say here also as well too, because in regarding of this episode 2, I personally want to say this, and I think everybody should notice this also well too, because you've been paying attention from episode 1 and episode 2. If you see something like basically on their tongue, it's their tongue. It looks like it's their looks like there's purple on the tongue. So what that means is basically that they inject themselves some kind of basically a drug, some kind of like a juice of a drug that would make them more stronger, more powerful for them to basically have. It's kind of like basically in like enhancement drug, like when some people use this basically that they use enhancements that they use for like they playing football or basketball or anything like that. But even though they're not supposed to use enhancements in basic sports because they can get banned because that's not really considered is fair for a fair competition for other different people. I've seen this pretty much basically happen basically to other different people that pretty much got banned from sport for using enhancements to enhance their abilities that they have for when it comes into sports. And basically, I personally want to say here, basically that I'm not saying this anime is a legal station as a sport. I'm not saying that. But the problem is basically that when they use that enhancement basically in the anime, they do enhance their abilities to make them far more stronger. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that, like I said, I don't want people to think I'm beating up the MC so much, because the way he acts, the way he fights, and stuff like that, I don't know if he's really going to be basically one of the greatest heroes ever. I really don't think so. I really don't. I'm not 100% sure like what he really actually is going to do. And regardless of his quirk and stuff like that, I mean, he can just move just like this, he's kind of like a moving spider. That's the way he's kind of like he is. He's moving so fast, you can't really see him really all that much. That's basically all he has. He basically calls himself the Crawler. I don't like the name called the Crawler. I know that's a kind of good gotcha name, but to me, I just think that is just not really suit kind of the style basic for him. But one thing I really want to say here is basically that the dude needs to learn how to fight. He really does. The question is, will his quirk evolve? Could that be very possible? But if he does not really evolve based with his quirk, then there may be a very good possibility, maybe down the road, he can use those enhancement drugs to up its enhancement. That is a very good possibility. That's a very, very good possibility. But you have to really just basically to understand. I mean, this is just like with basically with Izuku. This is basically just like with him. When Izuku when he first got into My Hero Academia, when he first got into in the UA of the school, of the UA based on the school. And the reason why he passed the first test because he ended up saving someone, and that's what basically he did. But the problem is about with Ichigo's court is basically back then, because if he were to use the powers from All Might that he has, the problem is his hand will get all flunky. Means that he broke a bone in his hand. I mean, it would hurt basically in a way, but it will make his hand just kind of flunky that way. Now we really do not know like how that really is going to happen, because like how he determines like how that he uses that, just because he has the power basically compared to basically All Might. But that doesn't really actually mean that Izuku is basically All Might. All Might is just basically just a guy. He's in a league of his own shadow, where he's just not used to doing the things that he used to do. And there's nothing that he really can do. Nothing really he can do. So the torch has to be passed on basically to Izuku. But the question is, like I want to say here also too, I wonder basically if Izuku is going to run into Koichi. I mean, that could be a very good possibility. Koichi could be a little bit more older than Izuku, basically. I mean, that basically could be. But I want to address also with the bouncer girl, whatever you want to call her. I mean, I think she's called Pop Step Up or something like that. Whatever that she's called, and basically what it means is that she needs to bounce off different places. That all she really does. That's all that she does. She does have. I think that basically, to me, in my own opinion, I think that she is a useless character also too. But don't let her cute idol looks fool you. But I will personally say, it basically is that she can get away. But that's the only ability that she always really has. And I don't know if she has something more unique that she can do. So she's gonna have to figure out. She's basically just gonna have to figure out, like, what can she really possibly do that she can do. But there's just no telling. Like I said, there's just no telling. Well, what's gonna happen? You know, it's just to see from there. I also want to say this is that I don't hate this anime. But the problem I see with this anime is just that I feel that the MC character is useless. That's what I feel to me. Maybe he might get much more stronger in the later episodes. He could. Could this be another Izuku kind of like of a situation that from what we're seeing? To be honest with you, I think so. Maybe I'm just getting impatient, or maybe I'm just not really just seeing that stretch from that far. So I mean, that's basically what I definitely do think. But one thing I've also wanted to complain also too is basically that, you know, he comes it's just saying like, yeah, he sees the car or anything like that. Like I said, I just don't think that's not a good gacha name for him. He may think he really actually is, but he seems to come up to Seville to basically be kind of cocky. So he's going to have to learn how to fight, because if he can't learn how to fight, then what is his quirk is just useless. There's nothing that he really can't even do. Is this basically considered as training? I don't think it's not considered as training, but he may learn a few things. Now, one other thing I definitely want to talk about before I go ahead in this video is basically his master. I would say basically Knuckle Dust, whatever you want to call him or anything like that. He does not have a court, but I will the person want to say here is basically that I think he basically has his own way, like how he fights and stuff like that. He kind of really, like I said, he kind of really reminds me of Wolverine. Wolverine, the power that he has is just his claws. That's all there is to it. He can absorb, punches and stuff like that. I mean, he can't, because his whole body is metal. That's what he actually is. Because he was made to be a super soldier. To be honest with you, yeah, that's what he was designed for, to be a super soldier. That's all basically what he actually is. But was he designed to be a hero? No, he was not designed to be a hero. But some people may think that he's a hero. I don't think that Wolverine is basically considered as a hero, but I basically would consider as Wolverine is just basically is just a guy trying to find his purpose in life. But sometimes he may not really basically understand. But he does love to do some hero work and stuff like that. He does. But he doesn't really want to do it basically all the time. That's like with the animation where I talked about. I said like he don't want to be part of any wars or anything like that. He doesn't want to be part of all that. Reason why he doesn't want to be a part of that because he doesn't want people to think that he's a really major threat because he really is not. Because he's not a major threat. He just wants peace. He wants to live a normal life. That's all he really wants. That's all he really wants. And it's that's basically what it feels to me. So yeah. So anyways, that's it for this anime review. I'm sorry, but this is just a rant. But it's just blowing out of my mind. But maybe I'm just, like I said, maybe I'm just getting impatient, or maybe I'm just not really seeing the bigger picture of basically what's going on in the anime and stuff. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see where it actually is going to go. So yeah. But yeah, anyways, I'll say guys later. Take care. Hope you have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Please hit the like button, give me a thumbs up, or give me a thumbs down, and please leave me comments below. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care. Hope you have a good day. Take care. God bless. Remember you. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.